The Adult Rehabilitation Centers are a really much needed ministry, and especially in Connecticut. Like most of the country, we have just a horrible issue with opiate addiction, alcoholism, lots of families in crisis. The transformation process is incredible. The desperation and the hopelessness that people come to the Salvation Army thinking that their family doesn't want them anymore. There's nothing for them to do in the community. Through the process of the ministry of the Salvation Army, through the process of getting a relationship with God, through the process of working out the issues of life, you see a regeneration happen to the spirit and soul and body of humanity that is amazing. And so not only do they end up feeling purposeful in life again, but many of them find their way integrated back into society in a meaningful way. All of that ministry is supported 100% by the thrift stores. You know, that ministry for 150 years has been solely funded through thrift recycling. And so we wanted to create a venue here that would support that and also expand it. But we need to create the revenue, you know, from this type of process in order to do that. Everything is about upcycling today, you know, and recycling. And boy, you know, the Salvation Army's been doing that for 150 years. And so we said, why not, if when we build a new store, we integrate that into the new store? Just give it a feel of that everything here is repurposed. Everything here is us doing the most good. We're gonna take stuff, repurpose it, give it new life, and we're going to take the proceeds from that and do that with people, redeem their lives and give them a fresh start. So that's how integrated the Salvation Army is into the thrift industry and the recovery industry. That we're still going around, you know, 150 years later and collecting society's cast off stuff, so to speak, upcycling it. And I think you can see from this store, we're doing it in a very innovative and exciting way that's just taking what we've always done historically and pumping it up just a little bit. So we had a fashion show in the fall. We had 12 of the state's up-and-coming designers take Salvation Army clothes out of the baler, disassemble those clothes, and make new fashion. We're premiering a new designer in our boutique here about every 6 weeks. This designer, what she did was take men's dress shirts, disassemble them, and turn men's dress shirts into cool dresses. And so we have about a half a dozen of these one-of-a-kind creations on display here in the store. It's our new redeemed label, and again offering just this micro industry opportunity for designers to really use their artistic talent and recreate high fashion design out of used clothing.
My name is Patricia Jean Lewis, and I'm the fleet manager for the Hartford ARC. I started using marijuana at the age of like 14 or 15, and it gradually got worse throughout the years. By the time I was 23, I had met my daughter's father, and he introduced me to heroin and cocaine. It pretty much went downhill from there. That time in my life, it made me very weary and broken. At 25, I came first to the Salvation Army due to some court issues, and I was pretty low then. And I met Jesus for the first time. I grew up Catholic, but I didn't know him. I had no relationship with him, and it changed my life. The problem was when I left here, I left everything behind. It got worse from there again. I ended up having a daughter, and I ended up losing her. I got into some trouble. I was selling drugs. I went to prison, and in March of 2014, I got released to the Salvation Army. Being released here, something changed in me, and I found Christ again. He never left me, I left him. The people here at the ARC mean everything to me. When I was at my lowest point in my life, they made me feel like I was worth something again. I slowly started to notice that I wasn't worthless and stupid. I started to see a better me, and gradually things got so much better in my life. October 31st, I'll have 3 years sober. I now have regular visits with my daughter, and we're working on reunification. I have a relationship with my family. That happened because I was here. The word redemption means to me that I'm loved no matter what I do, and I can always be redeemed through Christ. I think a lot about where I would be if I wasn't part of the ARC or stuck with it. I'd be in prison or dead on the side of the street. I feel like every day my story somehow touches other people, especially women in the program. And here, I feel like I do the most good, and it's only getting better from here.
My name is Kenneth Edmonds. I am actually a beneficiary at the ARC in Hartford, Connecticut. At the age of 5, my father died from sickle cell anemia. At the age of 6, I was abandoned by my moms. I had a very rebellious attitude towards society, towards life, towards God. Fast forward a little bit. 15 was the first time I started drinking, hanging out with the wrong crowds, selling drugs. Got in trouble with the law. Ended up going to detention for youth. I did 18 months in there. Then somebody was nice enough and gracious enough to send me to a place that is run by the Brothers of La Salle, which is a Catholic school in New York State for boys. Graduated high school actually from the Brothers of La Salle. I went to college after high school and tried to get everything in order. Got married. In the meantime, I didn't realize how my mom's not being really in my life, how much that affected me until my grandmother passed away. And my mother had to come to that funeral. I had a conversation with her about, why didn't she try to get in contact and all that. So at that current moment, I was trying to rekindle some form of a relationship with her. So after my grandmother's funeral, she left, she went back to Baltimore, and she got murdered. Left by the train tracks like a piece of trash. So that kind of really hit me bottom. That kind of really hit me hard after that. So I started using more, and I didn't realize it at the time, but my spirit was actually broken. My self-worth was defined by how much money I made, how much marijuana I could have, or how much alcohol I could buy for my friends or my so-called friends. If God did not lead me to the ARC, I believe that I'd probably be homeless. I probably would be a definite menace to society. Probably could be dead. The worst case scenario, I probably could be dead. I feel like God uses the staff, and not just the staff, but the students as a training tool for us to get used to, for me to be able to, everybody's different. And you have to respect and love people where they are. You don't have to love the sin, but you have to love the person. Redemption means forgiveness, that I don't have to be down on myself about the things that I've done in the past. God is a loving God. Regardless of whatever I've done sinful in my life, He loves me. He wants me to have a better life. I realized that Jesus died on the cross for my sins, so that I can be redeemed, so that I can be reconciled to God, to have a relationship with God. The ARC is a strong foundational place. It gives you your foundation so that you can go out and be a productive person. If you really want to change and you feel like there's nowhere for you to turn and you don't know what to do, you can always turn to God, and then He'll lead you to a place like the ARC. I thank God for that. I thank God for everything that He gives me every day.
My name is Brandon Michael Grotowski. My position here at ARC, I'm a beneficiary, but I'm trying to work up to an employee. My upbringing was awful. My father was an alcoholic. My mother was pretty much a prostitute. She ran the streets. She was addicted to cocaine. I was pretty much neglected. I felt that I needed to be under the influence of some substance in order to be around people in a social environment. I was probably about 8, 9 years old when I started drinking. Probably around 10, I started experimenting with cocaine. I just never thought anything of life, and I pretty much gave up before I even started. It was to the point that I was homeless. I was doing things that morally I would never ever think about doing in my wildest dreams. And somebody tried to kill me right here in the streets. I had multiple facial fractures. I lost a lot of teeth. I can't use my left hand pretty much at all. I got metal plates in my face and my hand. I was in a coma, and then I was induced into one because I was in such severe pain while healing. I remember the pain I went through, and I would never want to go through any of that ever again. It was probably about 15 years of using, running the streets, and I just knew deep down it was killing me. I just woke up and I heard it was God, and it was me internally in my soul. I just knew I had to surrender. So I surrendered. I turned myself into a detox. And then immediately after that, I came to the Salvation Army ARC. The biggest obstacle was surrender. I always thought some way, somehow that I was in control of everything, but I was in control of absolutely nothing. I just realized I couldn't do it my way, and I needed to let go of my feelings, my emotions, everything, my actions, and I just had to let the rope go. And I just had to ride the wave. Redemption, it means to me that fix something broken and make it look brand new. Where I'm at today is unbelievably wonderful. I mean, life is so good. I thought that none of this would be achievable at any point in time in my life. Life can be so great if you just give it the chance. And it goes with the saying, don't quit before the miracle, because I'm that miracle. I'm one of them anyways.
My name is Kimberly Alisea, and I am an employee at the Hartford ARC. I was brought up in a very dysfunctional family. At 13, I became a blackout drinker, which turned into IV drug use. Spent the next 25 years trying to get clean, relapsing. I was in and out of jail, living on the streets. Through the years not being able to get clean, the hopelessness got worse because I really believed that I couldn't do it. I had gotten arrested and went to jail, and this was an option to be able to come here. I had come to such a hopeless state in my addiction that when I got clean, I had to do something different. And nothing had worked in the past. So I gave Salvation Army a chance, and I gave God a chance to work in my life. And thank God I did it. When I first came to the Salvation Army, I really didn't know much about God. But after being here for a while and knowing that He could forgive me, I forgave myself and gave it a chance. After being clean for a while, things started to change. My life started to get better. I started to believe that I could do this, that I was a new person and that I could do it. Redemption to me means being able to start over with a clean slate and rebuild your life. Being out there using drugs and on the streets is a very empty, lonely place. And God has just worked miracles in my life. That was the piece in my life that was missing. Was God. My life is amazing today. God has redeemed me. I am a new person. He's wiped my slate clean so that I could start my life over again. I don't have to live like that anymore. I don't have to be alone.